Assalamu alaikum. Okay, this is video 8, and I had to hurry up because my timing was, advancing beyond, the time and the maximum time. Anyway, so if in the Bible it states that Jacob was called Israel, then what they're saying is Jacob was called Aries. He was called Aries. Okay? He was a new Aries. He was a new pillar. Okay? And the pillar would be a father of many nations. No. So he would inherit the legacy of being the father of many nations. So if he's the father of many nations, and this celestial sphere or solar system that we live in, Earth is in, we're in the Father's house, then truly, and this sphere represents Jackin, right? Jackin, like Jacob, right? So then truly, he would be Israel. He would be Aries, okay? The pillar Aries, and that would be the male, representing masculinity, okay? So therefore, every child fathered would have to be fathered of the Jackin energy, right? The energy of Jacob, right? So therefore he indeed would be the father of many nations, right? But they want to confuse that and say, oh, it's Israel, but Israel is construed. I mean, Aries is construed. The name Aries, or the celestial sphere Aries, is which is ascribed as Aries, is construed to represent, to be retitled Israel. Okay, and Israel represents the Hebrew spirituality, right? Because they're followers of that celestial hierarchy. They submit their will to the law, to being obedient to the laws of the celestial hierarchy as it relates to how divine order is established and how to obtain celestial black power, okay, as it's received through divine inspiration, divine intel, divine knowledge, by which one must have a pure heart, as Mother or is told to set in regards to weighing the souls by a feather, right? By the weight of a feather, an ostrich feather, right? So one must have a pure heart in order to receive that. Well, those who follow the outcast spirit, they don't have a heart. They don't have a pure heart. Therefore, they can't receive that because they serve the outcast spirit. They're not going to get that, so they got to take it. And they take it from the souls, feed it to their spiritual father, who is father of nothing, okay, has no house. This is my father's house, okay? This is my father's house, right? So, they want to take my father's house. They want to take over the father's house, okay? And make it their house, reconstruct it to be their house, okay? So when she and those following him, when you think they come back, when those planets, those solar systems align, what do you think's going to happen? Okay. Anyway, they don't believe it, but they will soon. Okay, so when one begins to comprehend the emotional duress of the black Hebrew, oh, is that where I was? Oh yeah. Okay, when she returns, okay, she's going to be angry. The mother spirit, the mother, energy is going to be angry. Like me. I represent that. I represent Nibiru. MashaAllah. The Nubian Nibiru, right? As even the celestial sphere, the eclipse reflected that. The eclipse reflected, my celestial accreditation. I won't tell you in every way. how it reflects that, but I know it does, you know, by the dates and, you know, times and planets and all that. You know, so I'm angry. Nibiru, that energy out there is going to be angry, very forceful. And bothering me is only going to make it more aggressive. The more angry I get, the more angry that energy, the more not the angry, but the more disappointed I get, the more that energy is going to affect Earth. The more injustice I see, the more disturbed I would become. And that's going to affect Earth. So as I said, Mother Nature needs peace. I told you in one of those videos, Mother Nature needs peace. Okay? Needs peace. Okay? Needs the children. Stop. No murdering the children. No starving the people. No more poor education for nobody. Euros or whoever. No debt, you know, on these young students. No homelessness, no war, you know, none of that, you know, we don't want none of that, you know. So, anyway, so when one begins to comprehend the emotional duress of the black Hebrew Aries woman, you know, then they can begin to comprehend why Mother Mary cries, as she too is a Hebrew Israel Aries black woman born of the nation who had been, you know, continuously pursued, discriminated against, persecuted, falsely the nation, people of the nation falsely imprisoned, enslaved, displaced, disenfranchised, bloody massacred, just as the nation of Palestine, which is a Hebrew nation, you know, and the billions of other Hebrews, Aries, Hebrew humanity born of the Aries father of conscious light. No, just as they are persecuted and discriminated against today by the bloody soulless descendants of Cain, known as the Khazar tribe of Dan, the cracked egg of the 12 tribes of Aries. Because remember, Cain was a son of is a son of Adam's. He was just a cracked one. He was that cracked egg that killed his brother, like Seth killed his brother, and the cycle continued. Like the Drumpf wants to kill his biological brothers. Okay, when going to the UN, demanding, you know, that the UN approve of, you know, not so much the UN approve, because the UN don't have to approve, but he can, you know, make it appear as if the UN approves of his, you know, desire to commit more war crimes and by continuing the spiritual war, right? Okay. That has been waged from the beginning of time in the garden, right? Okay. So now I'm going to show you a diagram why the drum thinks he's special. I'm going to show you how the universe works, how the universe is. Okay, if you can see it. Okay, this is a diagram of, let's say, the universe, the mother and the father planets. Well, we can't really see all the mother planet because it would be over here. Okay, okay. Let's say this would be this would be right here. These would be the cardinal sign. That would be the cardinal plane, that big one. Okay, and in between, that would be Cancer. This would be Gemini. Gemini's ran by Mercury, right? Supposedly, is the way they have it set up. Okay, which is wrong, but that's the way they have it set up. This would be Mercury. This is a navigational system. The whole universe, as in the Father's house, is a navigational system as well. This would be Virgo. I mean, this would be Mercury. This would be Mercury over here, going this way. And starting from the Sun, if we go this way, Mars is over here. If we go this way, Okay, if we go this way, then Mars would be over here, right? Okay, if we go this way, that would be Aries, right? Mars. If we go this way, Mars would be over here at Scorpio, right? So depending on where we enter the sun, where we enter the universe, the direction we go when we enter the universe, and that would be through the sun, right? Just following the light. Okay, if we go this way, then we could say, okay, that would be that Mars. If we go this way, this would be Mars, as I said. So going this way, that we hit Gemini. Going this way, and that would still be Mercury, let's say, according to their navigational system. That would be Mercury. Okay, going this way, this would be Mercury. Remember we said they overskip the moon, right? That would be the cardinal sign Cancer, the woman. They skip over that to get to the sun, right? So they don't recognize the moon as let's say a navigational location, because they don't have to, because it would be so low, right? It's so low. So they would put, rather than the moon here, they would put Gemini here, right? And Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so that'd be Mercury. And the Mercury would be here next to the sun, and Mercury would be here next to the sun. And that would be, Mercury is the messenger, right? Next to the sun, right? So Mercury would be here and Mercury would be here at the same distance, same location, right? So they put Mercury or Gemini in the place of the woman, Cancer, next to the sun, right? Just step over the woman, right? And the cow jumped over the moon, right? That's what it represents. Okay, so now if we go this way, we see the holy woman coming from this part that would be born here, okay, at Libra, right? At Libra. But if they go here, Gemini next to the sun, going this way, Mercury next to the sun here, going this way, then the next planet would be what? Venus right here at Taurus. So coming this way, Jazaza thinks he is a prophet. Okay, because he would be the Mercury, right? He would be Mercury, seeing himself as the virgin, and he was born in Queens, so he would see himself as the queen, giving birth to the prophet. Okay, the beast. He would be seeing himself as the one giving birth to the Antichrist, right? Okay, or because on this side we just see, okay, it's to be the Christ is to be born over here, right? Well, he's going to take America back, right? Because it would go back. The time travels this way, right? It travels this way from Aries to Taurus to Gemini, Cancer, the Sun, and that will be the way the celestial procession follows, right? Well, they want to take it back. Remember, I said they want to crack things up. They don't recognize the moon, the woman. So that's right next to the Mercury. The Gemini, which is supposed, according to the cracked up world, but that's not really what it represents. It's not really represented by Mercury. But so this would be Mercury. They would see that as Mercury, and then time going this way backwards. They're trying to navigate humanity backwards, right? That's how he wants to take the planet back. So he thinks, okay, he take over this position. If they recognize him, if he's recognized as the prophet, then he's going to give birth to the beast right here. He's going to be the father of that new nation, and that's why when he went to Israel, the Zionist Israel, right? He threw that in the crack so that he could manifest and be the father of that beastly nation, right? Of that Antichrist, Baron Dajjal nation, going this way, because this also would be Taurus's control, is said to be controlled by Venus, right? And Venus over here, the sun, going from here, Mercury is to give birth. Mercury, not Mercury, but the Venus, but the Virgin, because it's represented, the Virgo is represented by Mercury, and Gemini is represented by Mercury, and ignoring the sun, they both would be equal distance from the sun, right? So that using the sun as a navigational point, if they went this way, they would hit Venus. They go this way, they hit Venus. So they can't go forward. Remember, I said they're in a physical world. They have to only stay physical. So they can only navigate on this side. And remember, this side is female, right? That side is female. That's where they do the fall, right? The fall, right? That's where the fall happens. So they can't go forward in spirituality. They have to go backwards, right? And that's why when he wants to take it back, he wants to take the whole universe back, right? And rather than the sun traveling this way, he wants to see himself as the messenger to give birth to over here. So what's to occur over here, they want to try to make it happen over here, right? So it's a game there. It's a spiritual game still they're playing, and overlooking the woman as she's supposed to be born over here, right? In the sun is to be rise in the west, right? And this would be, the sun is to rise in the west, but the west is represented by Venus, right? So the sun rise in the west, right? The west is still Venus over here. That's the game they're playing. Okay, that is the game they're playing. Now, if we follow this chart, we can see when Venus was over here in Taurus, what were they doing? What were they doing? And that will tell you. And Venus would find the month Venus was doing over here in Taurus. Then you can find out what they were doing spiritually. Okay, because Venus is getting ready to move. I think Venus is getting ready to move in her home planet. She's getting ready to move here, right? Okay, so that's why they probably want to get that war going on to create some havoc before Venus gets over here, to create some, like I said, some havoc, so that, the spirituality will get, humanity will not be paying attention to their spirituality. They'll be caught up in the physical consciousness, and that's what they want to take humanity back. Okay, now understand, yes, it's not so much they can't, it's not so much that, they have to stay in the physical consciousness, right? Because what this Ra, the masculine world of Ra, or right ascension, or, Aries was masculine, right? So they want to take the world back to masculinity. Okay? That's what they want to do, because he's a Gemini. He was born of the house of Gemini, a cracked egg from Gemini. Okay, and so he figures he's Mercury. He's a messenger, right? And he's next to Venus, right? Venus of the east, right? And he's gonna, give like the Mercury, like the Virgin, and Mercury represents the Virgin. So he sees himself as the Virgin to give birth to the prophet, right? But we know the prophet would be the Antichrist, the Antichrist bearing the gel, right? So we know that will be him giving birth to, to the Antichrist, right? Okay, and he will be trying to empower them, right? Okay, because he figures he's the messenger, he's the prophet, he's the queen, right? He's the virgin, he's the Mercury, right? Because this is not, the woman is not recognized, right? The moon is not recognized, and he's closest to the sun, like over here. And over here, the virgin is Michael, right? As spoken of in prophecy, okay? The Michael would watch over the woman, right? And Michael represent the archangel. So the archangel Michael would watch over the woman, right? As the virgin gave birth, right? To as the virgin gave birth, and she would give birth to Libra. She would give birth to the sun in the west, right? The woman, and the sun in the west represents the sun, the masculine, the power, the light, the word, the prophecy, right? The truth, the divine truth would be given to the woman. So he wants to take it back and give it to the man, and the man represents the east, right? The old east. That's why he wants to take it back. Okay? Through war, through the way they always take it, right? By war and aggression, right? Okay. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Make sure. Okay, so we'll be going to, this is 8 video on, and then we'll be going to 9. Okay, so he wants to take it back, right? And what do you think it would, you know, taking humanity back? He'd have to do a lot of force, right? And what would be happening to the earth in the process? So he would have need to use force. Force would be war, right? He would need to go to war to take it. It would be war to turn back the hands of time, because that's what this is as well. It's a clock as well. That's a clock. It's a navigational system. It's a clock. It's a it's a number of things. So he would need war. That's why they want war so bad. They want to turn back the hands of time. Okay? They want to turn back the hands of time. Okay? And that's going to need force. And that's why he said of the Khazar Israel, first go to Iran, take out Iran, Iraq, Syria, and North Korea. It'll take 10 years, no matter what it takes. Russia, America, and United Kingdom, or whoever else, unite and take out, we know who they are, take them out. Because they knew what they were doing. They take out all the Hebrew Israelite people. Okay? Okay, those with divine truth, take them out. Allah take them out. Take out the Zionists. Allah take them out. Inshallah. Okay, so as we said, so what would Nibiru think when she came? You know, which is represented by the, has the ability. Okay? Oh, no. Where was I at? Okay. Oh, I hate you. I want to go back. Okay, so. Oh, I told you. Oh, I can't do that. Oh. Okay. So as we said, okay, the Vatican has no celestial power. They need celestial power. Okay, they have no celestial power. They have no celestial black power. They need to resurrect Babylon 3, but they need to do that from the ruins of Babylon 2, right? And that is why Jazaza Pence, Covfefe Trump attempted to deliver the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to the Vatican, along with the kinetic or the Kemetic lotus plant from Nubia, from, you know, which represents Nibiru, which represents the Pleiades, which represents Hathor, which represents Maathor, which represents the ability to resurrect life, right? Okay, so Jazaza Pence, Covfefe Trump was attempting to resurrect Babylon out of the ruins of Babylon 2 when he went to the UN and you know, rather than, you know, call for peace. No, he called for war because he needs war to take it back, you know, to turn back the hands of time. Okay? So Saturday is the 7th day, okay, of rest for humanity, as it also represents the completion as earth and heaven. And this is to demonstrate how, you know, they are so, meaning the Zionists, the outcast, those who worship the outcast spirit, are so inclined on the destruction of this universe, right, to recreate their own in the image of their outcast, the outcast image of their spiritual father, right? They're so bent on destroying it, right? Because every aspect of the being of this world demonstrate its, you know, it supports the pillars, the twin pillars of the Hebrew influence, the spiritual influence of the Hebrews, right? Okay, just as Saturday is the 7th day of rest for humanity, as it also represents completion. It also represents completion, as earth and heaven were stated to have been completed in 7 days. Heaven, okay, and And heaven is also stated to rest atop 7 hills or 7 heavens. There are also 7 planets, and Allah's throne rests atop 7 heavens, rests atop the 7 heavens. El, okay, El is also a 7. This is 7. This is El, and this is 7, right? That's what makes it just flipped upside down, right? 7, El, and which makes El a holy symbol. Makes 7 a holy symbol. El and 7 are synonymous, right? Okay, so when we say Aries El, if we say Aries El, we're talking about Israel. When we're talking about Israel, we're talking about Aries. We're talking about Aries being the top of the planets, right? Aries is the top, the first planet. So it's El, it's the highest one. It's the 7th, right? The 7th. It represents the highest, right? The pillar, of course. Okay. So that's even, so, okay. Anyway, so L is a 7. 7 in, as I said, 7 in reverse. And likewise, 7 also represents, you know, the 7th heaven. 7 chakras. Okay. So El represents the Elohim. It represents the high or the most high. So as Allah's throne sits atop the Elohim, it sits atop the 7 heavens, right? So to refer to Israel or Aries is to refer to the Most High. To refer to Israel is to refer to Aries, is to refer to the Most High. And he who rests atop the 7 heavens, the 7 firmaments. Thus, the 7th day, the Sabbath day is the black day, right? The black Sabbath, right? And it represents the Most High, which Muharram 3rd, 1439, in the new year, the 3rd day of the new year on the Islamic calendar, Muharram 3rd, 1439, and which is September 23rd, which will also be on a Saturday, a 7th day, the 7th day. Okay, so and I, mashallah, was born on the 7th day of Ramadan. Okay, the 7th child. Okay, with Jupiter in the 7th house at the galactic center. Okay, mashallah, in my natal chart. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, Allahu Akbar. Okay, so now so that in itself is also the you know, when, you know, the Virgin gives birth to the woman of the West, the sun gives rise to the sun in the West. When the Virgin gives rise to the sun in the West, you know, with with Jupiter present, which represents, you know, Jesus, the prophet born of a virgin. Okay, so that will also be a holy day, right? Okay, on a holy day, the day of the Most High, the 7th day of rest, right? Okay, so there are 7, as I said, there are 7 planets and 2 planets, pillars above, and there are 7 planets and 2 parent pillars. Above is the mother planet, Boaz, and which name is, and her name is Nibiru, right? For the Nubian one, okay, it's a nebula. Nibiru represents nebula. It's a Nubian solar star system, right? At Libra, and the pillar is at Libra, right? In the west, right? Okay, and so the woman born of the west is symbolizing the son being born in the west, the locking of the pillars, the closing of the gate, right? Because the son is going to be born in the west, and that's the coming together of the male and the female, right? The sun will be born in the west, or the sun will rise in the west. So therefore, that's the coming together, the male and the female together, right? United as one. Right? The universe will be closed in fact, the universe will be closed, and the drum won't. They won't get in. Inshallah, mashallah, they won't get in. The universe will be closed. Okay. So, and that will be a holy day. That will be a divine day. Okay, so there are 7 planets. Okay, we read that. Okay, so Boaz and Jachin will be together on that day. Okay, Nibiru and or the Nubian nebula star system will be together with in the west. Okay, so Boaz and Jachin will be together. Truth, the divine consciousness, and the mother will be together. Okay, so, and what do we say? Okay, so above. Okay, we're getting to video 8, I think 9. We're going to go to video 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we're going to go to 9. Okay, so as we say, there are 7 planets and 2 parent planets. Above is the one above is the mother planet, Boaz, named Nubia. Oh, Nibiru, that's her name, Nibiru, representing Nubia, representing the nebula, okay, star solar system, and its pillar is at Libra, okay. Now, and the father, which name is Jachin, okay, or Jacob, okay, it would be Jacob, not Jachin, but Jacob, okay, representing truth or thought, divine consciousness, would be Aries, right? Would represent Aries, right? They will come together, right? Because the sun's going to rise in the west, right? Okay, so below, and he's located below, right? So they're going to come together. Above and below are going to come together and be one consciousness, right? Okay, one divine feminine, meaning Nibiru, and one divine masculine would be Apollo, right? Or thought, right? Divine consciousness. Okay, one is the mother and one is the father, both pillars, okay, represented by the greatest pillar of all, the throne, the greatest pillar of all, and that will be the throne of Allah, okay, who is head and in control of all the universe he ordered to function in accordance to his celestial will. Assalamu alaikum.